Good morning, friends and fans. This is my first YouTube live, and I thought I'd be slick and fancy and do it on my desktop, but I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. So I've just downloaded Wirecast free, and I'm trying to set up my encoder and all things that aren't very straight talk. So, who the hell is Lisa Nichols? What the heck is straight talk, and why on earth should I care? So, there's more than one Lisa Nichols in the world. There's two. One, my brother from another mother, my sister from another mister. There's Lisa Nichols in the States, and she's at the number 2 Motivate, and a lot of people say to me, "Hey girlfriend." No, that's not me. This is Lisa Nichols UK, and what I do is I say oldies and newbies, but by oldies, I don't particularly mean old in mind, but I mean that we were born at a time where there wasn't what we call technology, and that our idea of marketing was our local paper or taking an ad in the yellow pages. And unless you're a social media marketing geek who likes, the F8 conference and Zucks is going to give a keynote, or like at the moment, the Worldwide Developer Conference is going on in San Jose for Apple. If that's not your cup of tea and you don't go, "Whoa, I'm really looking forward to it," if you're just busy doing your own business and thinking, "Oh, what the heck is it all about? I've got a Facebook profile, isn't that enough?" So what I try and do is my tribe, my audience, my pals tend to be people that they can remember what a boiling hot day it was for Live Aid. They can remember that day, or they remember where they were when the Berlin Wall came down, and Reagan and Gorbachev and Chernobyl. So, if none of these things mean anything to you, then you're probably young enough to understand, a smartphone, to understand that there's Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they're completely different things, and how there's an etiquette about it. But for most of my lot, it's something where they're busy worrying about their own business and creating the best product or offering the best service that they possibly can. And the whole idea of a modern marketing, digital marketing, just is all, "Oh, can't you do it for me?" Which, of course, there is that option. Of course, there's plenty of people that can do it for you. The only trouble with that is there's a bit of an uneasy, it's a bit of an uneasy marriage, because the clients, the Gen Xers, people that are all the things, all those highlights that I said to you that we would remember. So, I don't know, kind of 40s, early 50s, Gen Xers, they don't really get what goes into a good social media campaign, and so they think, I just gave her £100. Why isn't the phone ringing? Because they don't really get what an art and what science it is, and how with social media, you take a bow, an arrow out of your quiver, and you fire it, and you see where it lands, and you think, interesting, okay, let me fire another arrow. Well, for clients that don't get that, they just think, what is she doing? I gave her £50, I gave her a tenner, why isn't the phone ringing off the hook? So it makes for a bit of an uneasy marriage between people who don't really get what it is that they want a social media manager, or somebody who builds their website. They kind of resent, they have this weird sort of, I have to get my webman or web girl, to change that. Well, you don't. You really don't. All these things look effing scary when you first go into them. A lot of people are on things like WordPress, and you go into it, it's all black and white menus with things that if you pressed it, the whole website could explode, so you'd rather pay somebody else. But if you took a minute and thought, oh right, okay, so that's basically how it works, that's fine, I don't have the time, I will happily set aside a budget for it, and I understand what it is I'm asking my web guys to do. Same with social media. If you just understand it enough to think, yeah, that was true last week, but it ain't true this week. Oh, lovely Robin. Oh my God. Morning, Robin. So that's what I try and do. I try and take the scariness out of it, and I try and show people. I record over the shoulder videos of this is what happens if you press it, and this is where you find it, which is a bit of a thankless bloody task, because on social media, if you press a button that, if you show somebody this is where you find it, that will be true for that day. But you know, it could all change again tomorrow. So what I try and do is I try and explain to Gen Xers or people that are new to the whole promoting their business and marketing, and I try and explain, look, this is what it is that we're doing. Because even if you paid somebody to be a social media manager and you said, here's some money, just make it all go away, well, I could take your money and I could say, yeah, I'll post some updates to social media, but I wouldn't be you, would I? I could do my best to think, well, you know, here are the 5 top salient points of your product or service, and here's a cute visual that explains that. You know, I could probably start off and make a bit of a fist of it, but ultimately the best marriage is from when the client, the Gen X or the midlifer, the, you know, whatever it is that I'm defining as my ideal tribe, when they get what it is that you're trying to do and they think, yeah, I get it, but I'm not bloody interested. The last thing I want to be spending my time on, here's a budget and here's what it is I'm trying to say and who it is I'm trying to target, and this is what I want you to do, then, you know, everybody's happy. You say, I'm happy to take your money because I totally get what it is that you want to promote or elicit from people, you know, depending on whether it's a product or a service or a cause or whatever it is. So that's what I try and do. I try and educate people just enough so that they think, oh, it's not that bloody different. Oh, well, I'll do that, which is happy days. That's the best way. But if you're not in online business and you're not in social media marketing, most people don't have all the hours in the day to think that through. So the next best thing is to empower the client to know what it is that they want, understand what it's going to take to get where they want to go, and then work with your expert, your guru, your whatever it is that, you know. I'm all for staying in your lane, doing what you do best, and outsourcing that mofo to somebody else, because by the time that you've looked at all the YouTube videos and read all the articles on how to do it yourself, and with the best will in the world, you know, there's loads of great information out there, but by the time that you check, oh right, that was a 2013 video, it hasn't looked like that for years, by the time that you sod about and waste a whole day, and then by the time that your kids, husbands, furry friends, you know, whoever it is, you end up being growly with them, what's the bloody point? You know, understand enough about it to understand, oh, it's not that difficult, I'll give it a go. Or, yeah, it's not that difficult, but it's bloody time consuming, and I can have a far better use of my time. And that's what Lisa Nichols, midlifing I'll get, I know how you feel. I felt the same way myself until I realised. And Straight Talk Social Media, I won't use lots of long words and guru speak. I'll try and say to you, that's what it is and that's what it does and that's why you should care. And so that's what my channel's all about. It's looking over my shoulder at what it is I'm doing, and as I say, difficult as it is to say this is where the button is and the button will always be there and these will be the options underneath it, they won't. This is the 21st century. Technology is whizzing along. I love it. Midlifers like us call it technology. My kids just go, what technology? You know, it's just your phone, or it's always been there, you know. So for digital natives, it's comical how much we don't get it. And we like to think of ourselves as being pretty smart. We knew how to program a video. Our mum and dad didn't. We knew how to record the outgoing message on our answer phone, didn't we? We were very good. When I left college, I went to work as a secretary, you know, when I was a little girl. And I said, I know how to do shorthand. And they said, oh, shorthand is so last year, Miss Sims, you know, before I was married. We do audio now, and I was like, wow, that's the cutting edge legal audio secretary. The solicitors would dictate tapes, we'd put tapes in a machine, put our headphones on, a legal audio secretary. Wow. And when the facsimile came in, I was so young and with it that I was put in charge of the facsimile. We like to think of ourselves as, I can remember when a TV remote was wireless. Up until then, it had a wire, and my dad used to say, "Careful, mind the bloody oh!" And we'd kick the remote control out of the telly. So it's been a bit of a slow burn for us lot, technology. There's been something new every 10 years, whether you're ready for it or not. But of course, the pace of change now has speeded up. It will keep speeding up. I don't want to give you the worries, but augmented reality, like Pokemon Go, the kids had, you could see the world through your phone, but there was something imposed on it. That's the way we're going. So if you fall behind now, you might as well put an ad in the local paper and hope that Yellow Pages still does a directory, because you're never going to catch up. So that's what I try and do. I try and take the overwhelm out of WTF is it all about, and try and make it relevant. Somebody called me yesterday and said, "Lisa, teach me about LinkedIn and Twitter." And I was like, well, but that's not where your audience is, lovely. I don't, there's no point in me teaching you about that. That wouldn't work for you. So anywho, Lisa Nichols, Straight Talk Social Media. I love you, I'll miss you, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye guys.